You want answers?
What's that going to set up?
We've got to go to work.
It's the Strat Attack Show. But we're always wondering what the next two is.
Holy shnikes, it worked.
That's something I want to know about.
What's your name, scumbag?
Strat Attack Show.
We're on a mission from God.
Here's Rob Smith.
Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith in the Black, and if it's Tuesday, it's the Strat Attack Show. We're getting the urban assault vehicle and see what's going on. So, we've got the end of the month and the end of the quarter coming. So, we want to be aware of that. So, sometimes charts just run out of time. And what I mean by that, as far as we know, let's take a look at this monthly here. As far as we know, outside month, 2 down, 2 back up, 3-2-2. So, this is still good. It's just running out of time. So, as far as we know, we're a lot closer to taking the monthly highs out, right? So, we're closer to completing that because we know we had the outside month here, the outside month here, the outside month here, the big outside month here, the test of the bottom of the broadening formation, and now coming back through. So, unless anything changes, so far in the weekly that has not, right? Then we're going back to the high. So, we'll see. Because right now in the weekly, you got the lower low, and now you're higher high, so we'll see if that continues. The good thing is, on Tuesdays, we want to see what they do on Monday. Came in and bought. And then what did they do on Tuesday? They came back, all right? And we had some risky news and all that kind of stuff, but we want to see if there's follow-through or reversals on each Tuesday. QQQ here, now an outside month, all right? And so we'll see how that goes, because back into this outside month here. Right, back into that. Once again, everything looking pretty similar. Future, all running, like run, cheap run. Diamonds, however, still inside month. All right, still closer to taking out the highs. But here's your running formation on the weekly here. It is a 2 up on the week. All right, and so we'll see if that closes out. Then you'd have your 3, 2, 1 blast off, because they're closer to the highs as far as we know right now. You go to the small cappers. And small cappers no longer an inside month to the upside. But these two, I believe, are stuck in this, right? What's that? Wow. No, this was a 2 down, right? And so we're 2 back up. So we'll see. Small cappers a little bit laggy down in here, but we'll see. You had this real chop shop forever, if you remember this. And so now you test the downside. But if you get back into something like that, that's the middle of the broadening formation, just so you know. So, so far so good. So, well, what we do, because we're coming in the end of the month in a new quarter, so we hit the scans, all right? So I want to see who stays inside month, right? And is there any themes to that first? So if we go there, you see Palantir, and we'll take a look at some of these things. Palantir, still an inside month, but you got a couple of days and close to taking that out. So the question with the memes heating up, do they go back into something like that? If you go to Snappy, Snap, still an inside month, but a hammer. And when we get to those hammers in a second, there's a ton of them, all right? And so closer to taking out both these hammers. They tried to hit it, now bring it back. So we'll see how that goes. Today was an inside day to the upside, 3-1-2 on a Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes. If we go to Cisco, and Cisco, doing nothing. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. And this is why you want to watch the multiple time frames, because if you didn't know this and you're trying to trade this thing in here, you get killed. Look at this. You're going to get murdered in here. All right. So inside month coming for looking like for Cisco. If we go to Merck, and Merck, real choppy in here. Remember, this was a 3-2-2. And then the next month, boom, 2'd it back down, but wasn't weak enough to take that out, right? So if you get this inside month, you could still be working this thing, this outside bar here. So we'll see what comes of that with Merck. If we go to Lennar here, you can see this closer to the downside, right? And in the home builders, and you got Home Depot as well. You've got DHI over there. And so if we go to the ITB here, that's a little bit of an issue, because it's closer to taking the downside if we're going to fail, right? We want to know about that. You got Weyerhaeuser in there. That's Toll Brothers. See all those home builders going inside, all right? And that tells us interest rate sensitive stuff and FAS. Hammers back up. So that was looking like it's going to be stay inside month, got pounded and then came back. Here's your two reversal on the week right there, 2 down, 2 up. If we go to, what else do we got here? We got Honeywell on the Dow. And Honeywell going to be an inside month with that Dow, so you can keep an eye with that. So we go down the list, see what else I can see in here. W day. Here, inside hammer. All right, so you can keep an eye on that because there's going to be a ton of hammers. If you go to W, also an inside hammer down in here. Keep an eye on. A couple days to close out. The gigs. Google, inside month. So we'll see how that goes with the fangers because Facebook, not a hammer, but closer to a 2 down, 2 up. And so if you were buying in here, you were getting killed, right? You just had to wait, get your reversal here. And now you could have the monthly reversal, right? That's a whole different story, right? If we go to, let's see what else we got in here. I'm not going to go too far down the food chain. So a lot of those inside months got obliterated to the upside with this huge rally. And so then if we go to the monthlies, we go to the hammers. Oh boy, here they come. Here come the monthly hammers. And we also knew we had lots of outside quarters. And so you'll hear me say, once a 3, always a 3 can't not be. What that means is if they took out the highs and the lows, they might do it again. And that's what we're looking potentially at on a lot of things here. AMD, setting up the Rev Strat, wasn't weak enough to take out this when it broke the inside month. Now comes back in. All right, so I want to see how that handles that because MU earnings just came out. And MU's ripping a bit. So we'll see if that can set up the old Rev Strat inside and then the hammer, right? If we go down to Grandpappy Ford's, slight lower low, and now another hammer. So remember, it's got up to 26 and backed all the way down. So we'll see what comes of that. If we go to American Airlines, a little boring, but it would be Rev Strat month here. So that tells us to look at the trannies. Transports, we're 2 up. And back into this old 3, just haven't completed that. But transport's been a little stuck in here. You know, the airlines are a little slow going, but there's your hammer and United Airlines, probably a bunch of other airlines, and like FedEx here, not a hammer, but remember this monthly try we've been watching. Couldn't get her going up into here, but now makes another lower low and potential 2 down, 2 up. If we go to CCL, hammer counter shooter on the month. All right, so we'll see with the opening up trade, and that tells you RCL and all that kind of stuff. How's Wind doing? Wind's hurting a little bit. Nope, Wind's going to try and hammer as well, so we'll get to some more of that. You've got SQ here, took the hammer on the month, but it's also a hammer here. All right, so you had your reversal, 2 down, 2 up. They tested it twice down into here, and now trying to resolve back to the upside. So coming into the new month, and keeping on SQ. If we go to RBLX, taking quite the beating, and so now if it's going to come back, all right, here's your 2-1-2 reversal to start the year where it got clobbered, perfect, right? Remember what I talked about before, when you see this chop stuff inside, it's real tight stuff, and you take out one side and then you come back through it, that's going to be the middle of the try. Boom, higher high, lower low, now potential monthly hammer for that. Let it close out. If we go to PayPal. And PayPal, oh, how they wanted to bottom pick it here too. But you got to look at all the time frames because here on the weekly, the 2 down, slight lower low, 2 up, and I called the low so far. Right there, that's all you had to wait for, right? And you could have taken it here because that was a 2 down, 2 up. You just stop out when it gets back in the range, all right? But in here, don't stop out. Now it just keeps going and running. And if that works, that creates the monthly hammer, right? You always want to be forward thinking. If something works, what's that going to be doing down the road? We got Delta in there too. Another hammer, counter shooter in the airlines. We've got AFRM. And there you go on the weekly. Look at that. Reversal right here on the daily. That called the lows, and we've been watching this broadening formation for a while to see if when it went inside day here, if it drops back through again, or if it just goes 2, 1, 2, inside day, back up, and off she goes, right? Well, she did, and if it does, sets up the hammer here. And one of the reasons you want to always have these longer term charts is you can see here, down here, this was a 2 down by taking out the lows, 2 up, there's your reversal. And then here, 2 up, 2 down, boom, down she goes, and now potentially setting up the broadening formation back to the highs on a monthly reversal. And once again, here's that tight range, the attempt at the up, the attempt at the down, and they'll come back up into it. So we'll see how that goes. And let's see, in the Dow, a little boring, but you got Coke here, and Coke trying to hammer up in here. But if that takes that, we've got that year and upper on the macro list, which is coming out fairly soon. If we go to Peloton, hammer counter shooter, all right, down into here, because monthly was perfect, up into here, call the highs, 2 up, 2 down. And now you could have taken it here, but you just stop out when it gets back into that month, right? Then it goes down, makes another lower low. Now potential to 2-2 back up on the Peloton. If we go to Macy's, a little stuck in here, so it's a little tight, but you have attempted the downside a few times in here, so I'd be a little bit more cautious on this one to get through all 3 of these and then stay up there for sure. Because like I said, when you have that tight range like this, if you get out and then you come back in, that might be it, and then goes all the way back through it. If we go to Disney, and Disney would be red strap month. Inside, 2 down, boom, if you can take that out. This is a 3, so you're going to try and come back through that as well. We'll see. It's been a little tight here on this daily, but we'll see. It's red, so you got a little bit of distance. So we'll see if Disney can do that. If we go to JP Morgan, inside month pokes down, potential rev strat on JP Morgan if they want to bring that back up. Right? See all this range here, chop in here, test it, and now see if it wants to come back up. We'll see. If we go to TJ Maxx retail, see the higher high, the lower low, potential hammer here as well. You can watch that with all a bunch of retail. If you go to Devon Energy Momo hammer up in here because that's a 2 up. So what that means is it's a 2 up, so it's not reversing anything, it's continuing. But if you trapped anybody in here, down here in the shorts, down in here, you can stick it to them. If you take that out, obviously you're going to be watching that with all the energies. If we go to Starbucks hammer on the month here, so more retail to keep an eye on. If we go to Chewy's taking a beating. That would be rev straight. I believe that was an inside month, and down into here, and you can see once again calling the top, the 2-2 reversal, 2 up, 2 down, right? And if you miss that, then you wait for it to do it again. The 2 up, the corrective activity within the greater puke and downtrend, right? 2 up, 2 down. If we go to Boeing's been trapped in here. We know that inside year kind of stuff is really trapping these guys, but with the airlines and a bunch of those other things, you did have an inside month. You poke down, potential rev strat back to the upside. If we go to Visa, and Visa got hit pretty hard, but came all the way back. So potential the 2 down, 2 up hammer if they want to do that, and it tells you to look at MA. And MA, we've been watching this thing forever on the weekly here because of this. Remember this little ditty? This broadening formation in here, and then the 2 down, 2 up, and then the real chop shop in here, and then this called the high, the 2 up, 2 down. Came down here, but wasn't weak enough to take that out. And I believe, it was a lot of that. 306. Well, 305.60, it did. So there you go, broadening formation. They get bigger, and then it comes roaring back off another 2-2 hammer. Boom. So we can watch that with your Visors. If we go to Morgan Stanley, potential to 3-2-2, the outside month, and a 2 down hammer. Just see if it can take that out. Obviously, you're watching that with the financials. If we go to Lyft, and Lyft, little stuck in here, but a slight rev strat because this was inside. So these 2 bars are inside of that. Nice day today for Lyft. And this is what we look for, the 2 down on a Monday and the 2 up reversal on a Tuesday, because that changes all that continuity right back up. You've heard turnaround Tuesday, there it is, and that's how you look for that. If you go to Nike, more Dow stuff, hammer, and after taking all this stuff out, once again, that tight range, they test the upside, they test the downside. Now you have the potential reversal back up in Nike. If we go to Snow, potential rev strat here too. Inside bar, down. You got some distance on it because it's still red, but so sometimes that can be good because it gives you time to set it up, right? So if we go to D-Dog, triangles them out, stop them out. Now hammer time on the month to see if that comes back up. A little slight inside day to the upside today. So we'll see. It's been higher, and that's always like to come back through previous ranges. If we go to DocU, DocU's been pounded. We know that. Once again, there's that choppy range. There's the test the top, test the bottom, broadening formation, grows, and now potential to hammer for DocU. And if you're trying to bottom pick this thing, here was your inside day, right? Off she goes. Created the inside week last week, 2-1-2 reversal, and coming back through this previous range. That's what we like to see. If we go to AMAT, AMAT, slight lower lows here, not as big of a range, but you do have this outside month. So obviously you can watch that with the semis and see what they all do. We also have Roku. Roku's been hit pretty hard as well. There's what you look for on the month. 2 up, 2 down. Boom. Reversal below 391.18. Not bad shooting there, Tex, because you don't have any higher highs on the month ever since. But now you got a hammer, so you can take all that money you got short and go back the other way. And that's how you'll use the longer-term charts. Don't get caught up in the noise. Go to Netflix. Netflix, rev strat. Tight, choppy range, test the highs, 2-2 reversal, 2 up, 2 down. No higher highs, but now inside bar goes down and then forms the hammer we'll see on Netflix. If we go to Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble comes down into here. Heavy retracement of this thing, but we'll see how that goes. You're going to watch that with the XLP as well as the Dow. XLP hammer in there. So we'll see how that goes. Mondelez in there. Also, see if that hammers back up. But we'll see. Let them close out and then let them confirm, because you also have Colgate right there. Slight higher high, 2-2 reversal. Takes out the range. Here's my support level. Gone. Now here's your hammer. If you go to ZM. ZM been hit pretty hard. There it is. There's your hammer in all its glory if it's going to turn around. So we'll see how that goes. We also have Pepsi in there with the XLP crowd, with the Coke and all that kind of stuff. If you go to another beaten down FSLY here, they've clobbered this thing. They've clobbered this thing now. So, but now you got your potential hammer. And so when people are like, oh, the market's overextended, I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. A lot of things are still pretty down there. Anyway, TWLO, another one. Beaten, right? Beaten, and now potentially hammering on the month. If we go to Beyond the Meats. Beyond the Meats, just a little hammer down here, but once again, Fallen Angel, this thing's been getting clobbered forever. So we'll see there too. If we go to, what else we got here? Carvana. Carvana had a hammer, couldn't take it, does it again. And Carvana's been beaten ever since this 2-2 reversal here, 2 up, 2 down. And so we can keep an eye on that one as well. No shortage of hammers. PSX and the refiners. PSX, hammer, counter, shooter, right here. So we'll see how that goes. If watch that with the refiners, your Valeros, your MPCs, and all those. If we go to Target. Target, that's Momo hammer because it's a 2 up, all right? So it's not a reversal as such, but obviously you can watch that with retail to see if that comes up. Because once again, here's this weekly broadening formation we're looking at. It expanded it, but now trying to get back in. So it starts racing through here on the hammer. That's going to get my attention next month. If we go to shop, another beaten down, 2 up, 2 down, shoot a reversal on the month, and now all the way down, and now hammer. They want to bring the shop back. If we go to EXPE, here, and they tried to hit that, and that comes back up. That's a bunch of those opening up trades, pandemics, if you will. So we'll see how that goes. If we go to McDonald's stops a bunch of these guys out. And now hammer back up. We can watch that with Dow Jones. Palo Alto, that's Momo hammer because it's a 2 up. So that when you see Momo hammers, they got to go, because what you're doing is you're combining buying with short covering. But once the shorts cover, right, if the buyers don't step up, they come right back down. So that's the important thing to know about a Momo hammer like that. Coop, getting a little closer. We know this thing's been beaten. So we know this thing's taken a bloody beating. So there's another hammer to keep an eye on. It's Fang Energy. Fang Energy, that's Momo hammer. That's a 3. All right, they tried to hit it and bring it back up. So we'll see if that goes at all. If we go to W-Day inside, we already looked at that, I think. And Goldman Sachs with the Morgan Stanley. Slight little hammer. Rev Strat inside bar pokes down. Marriott, more pandemics, trying to come up off those hammers. If we go to GitLab. Welcome to the world, and then destruction. And now you got your potential hammer on the month. But Bumble, we're going down the food chain here, folks. But Bumble's gotten clobbered ever since going public. And now potential hammer here, call the bottom. Some more opening up TripAdvisor. More opening up stuff, just a little bit tight in here. But we can always watch all those together. If we go to Zscaler coming down, 2 down, hammer time. So we'll see if they want to bring that back up. So you can see how much, when people look at the broader averages and say, oh, we've been up too many days in a row and all this kind of stuff. When you go through all this stuff, you can see there's a lot of stuff that's still hanging down pretty beat up. Match.com. Opening up. I'm going to go out and go have a date. We're going to find out. The retail, you got Ollie. Ollie's also taking a beating here. Ollie in the retail, setting up the hammer there. The potential 2-2. And with W-Day, you always want to look up now. Now, RevStrat, there, 2 bar inside. They're both inside, but you can watch that those together. Clorox, another name in the XLP, trying to hammer. CRM inside, and you can see this, plain as day. Higher highs, lower lows, broadening formation, CRM inside hammer. Zion Bancorp here, trying to hammer, and that tells us to keep an eye on KRE, see if that thing's doing anything. A little bit of a hammer, but a little bit of a chop shop here as well. We go to VMW. VMW would be a 3-2-2 here. Outside, 2 down. Hammer back up. And that would give us the magnitude to go take these guys out. Okay, let's see if we can find anything else. Let's get Upwork. How you doing, buddy? Another one. UPWK Upwork. Beaten. Here was your Rev Strat month. 1, 2. Down she goes. Now, stop a bunch of these guys out. Trying to go hammer time. So, yeah, so obviously you can see there's a ton of this kind of stuff. We can look for the concentrations because that way we can see if it's a simultaneous break. Do all the pandemics go? Does all the XLP go? Does the home builders drop to the downside? And then You got stuff like CVS. Still inside month, but on the weekly here, you've got the 3-2-2 on the week coming down, and that tells you keep an eye on Walgreens. If things weaken up here, albeit Walgreens still inside in the week, so it's looking like a CVS thing right now. But we're finishing off the month, the quarter, all that kind of stuff. So you always hear me say, what's the next two? What will that create, negate, or do? Right? So on the next two on the month, as far as SPY is concerned, that continues that 3-2-2 reversal back up. Right? If that's going to change, it's got to change on the day of the week first, right? Which it has not. Right? So the hopes of any downside for people would be that these are the downside part of the broadening formation, and this high this week is that broadening formation, and then it starts to come back through there. We don't have evidence of that right now, so that's why we play the game. We let them open and see how many things are tuned to the upside, how many are tuned to the downside. But as you can see, when people are saying, oh, the market's up too much and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of stuff still hanging around some lows, right, with some major reversal patterns. So we'll keep an eye on all those and track them for you. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, Smith in the Black, the Strat Attack Show.
You've been listening to the Strat Attack Show.
It's over.
That looks like I'm running out of time again.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
And now for something completely different.
Yeah. Did you get that memo?
Let's go to Billy Baroo.
Oh, Billy.
Here's where they're buying.
Oh, behave.
Here's where they're selling.
Oh, righty.
I'd keep an eye on this. Is that a problem? It is.
You just don't turn it off.
I'm Rob Smith.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
I'm Smith in the Black with the Strat Attack.